try this again. Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. Cool, so I've been thinking about what I want to do going forward with the channel, because I'm conscious that I'm talking a lot about American bands, which is fine. You know, that's kind of the music that I used to listen to a lot of. I still do Fat Records sort of stuff, but I'm also finding that, like, although the initial idea of the channel was to talk about my experiences with these bands, how I started listening to them or whatever, I'm kind of aware that I'll probably run out of stories soon. Like, you know, there's only so many times I can tell a story of a band, so only if a band has 8 albums, what am I going to do? Like, tell the story 8 times? Like, come on. So I thought, I know I said I'm not going to review stuff, and I'm not really going to review stuff, but I kind of am going to. So, and I also what I also thought would be kind of cool is kind of introducing or including UK bands, DIY bands, which I thought would be a really good idea. It would be good for me to kind of get more aware of the scene that's going on. I've been out of it for a long time, since the Shortcut stopped playing, and I thought this would be a really, really great way for me to get back into that, and kind of read up on a lot of the stuff that I've missed out over the last few years. So what I want to do with that, first of all, as well, is give a big thanks to Colin's Punk Rock World. So a big thanks to Colin for putting together a playlist for me a few weeks ago with some current UK punk bands, which was awesome. It's a really good playlist, thank you very much. I found some really awesome bands in there that I love, like Modern Shakes, hello, lots of love for them. And also his blog, Colin's Punk Rock World, is a great resource as well. They do a lot of reviews, so that's worth checking out. And secondly as well, a big thanks to Scott from Brassneck Records for actually suggesting, not suggesting the video, but suggesting the band. I'd never heard of the band before, but he came and commented on one of my Instagram posts about the band, suggesting that I'd try them out, I might like them, and I bought the record straight away without listening to them. Put it on my shelf. I haven't listened to it on the vinyl until maybe a week or two ago, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, so thanks for that. The band I'm going to be talking about today is Don Blake, and they are from Manchester. And Manchester, you know, as we all know, is well known for producing some excellent musicians. Regardless of what you think of some of them, you know, Manchester's never been short on musical talent. And I've read as well that I don't know if they're all from there or whether it's just a few are from Bolton, which is kind of an interesting little link for me because I do have family up there. So big shout to any of you who are watching, probably none of you, but hey. Yeah, so this is the one I'm going to be talking about today. Anti-Charisma Wholesale, and here's the record. I mean, I'm not a big, I covered this in a podcast I did with Colin's Punk Rock World a few weeks ago. I'm not that arsed on colour variants or anything like that, because to me it's just it's the same music on the record, so it doesn't bother me if it's colour or standard black. But saying that, they are nice to look at, so this is the one that we've got. It's kind of like a orangey kind of sunburst kind of vibe to it. It's really pretty, and that came out on Brassneck Records. It came out on Bloated Cat Records. Yeah, it came out this year, so it's a newbie, and I'm going to be talking about that one. I haven't got any experiences with them, so it's going to be talking about the record. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's not a really shit review, because I'm not used to doing them. Yeah, let me know what you think. This album starts off with the song "Future is a Closed Door," and it's quite in your face from the start. It reminds me a bit of kind of the Not Without a Fight era of NUFAN Glory. That's kind of the sound I get from the guitars. It doesn't stay like that. It's just kind of, it starts off that way, and then it kind of comes in with these kind of power metal-y shredding kind of thing going on, which is awesome. It's that crossover between kind of power metal and punk. that I really kind of loved. Kind of when I discovered Fat Wreck, so it's definitely like a 90s throwback sound almost to this song, and really to the whole record. And I found as well that I'd be kind of singing along to it even if it wasn't playing. So I listened to this through a few times, and then I kind of like go, I don't know, walking somewhere, I don't know, like in my house, and it would just be kind of in my head. So, and that is like to me that's a good sign of like a really great song, that it's kind of stuck in your head, you know, even if you only heard it a couple of times. Saying that though, you know, like I feel like this song isn't fully representative of the rest of the record. I feel anyway. I mean, it fits on there, but it's just it to me it's different to the others. You might think differently, but that's kind of like what I think about this song. Moving on to the next one. I think this is my favourite one on the record. This is Comfortable Lie. It starts a little bit slower than the last one. But it kind of has these really, really beautiful harmonies, and also the first thing I thought of as soon as the first line, it's like, oh, this sounds like the Swellers. It's so good, and that's kind of the vibe of the whole thing. Like I think it might be the voice, like the vocals, that kind of gives me that vibe, but also, you know, that kind of lyrics with a hint of like sadness, but it's kind of got these like kind of like fast drums. It's guitar, but the lyrics and the voice is just a little bit. It's a little bit sad, which is, but in a good way. And weirdly as well, like there's a part in the chorus that reminds me of my friend's old band Lumas. They had a Christmas song that I can't remember. It's quite old, good few years old. But there's this good little melody in there that really reminds me of that. So I've kind of, I don't know, I kind of feel like quite close to the song because it reminds me of that. And I found like going through the whole record, that's sort of how I feel about the whole thing. It's sort of, it feels familiar to me, while being completely brand new to me at the same time, which it's just like, it's such an unusual feeling, but really nice. I had to take this again because I accidentally said a really stupid word twice, so I'm redoing this bit. So the next song it starts off quicker than A Comfortable Lie, and it is a shorter song as well than any of the others on the record. It's about a minute and a half. And that's kind of reflected in kind of how quickly it's played. There's still, you know, like a touch of sadness to it, but it's definitely more upbeat than Comfortable Lie. I found myself, when it was on in the background when I was at work, kind of sitting in my office chair and typing away and kind of having a little dance in my chair to it. So that's kind of, that caught my attention straight away. There's also, even though they've got the harmonies kind of like prevalent all the way through the record, there is like a hint of like gang vocals going on in this one, which I really appreciate. And I just think like how much fun this would be to see live. So fingers crossed next year, you know, we can start to go and see bands again. And but Don Blake will be one of the first ones I'll want to go and see. So yeah, that's that one, and we'll move on to the next one. Right, this one, like, I've been thinking about for ages. So this one's called Almost Got 'Em, and the opening line, like the way it's sung, like the melody, and the vocals, I was like, oh, for ages, like what does this remind me of? What song does this remind me of? It reminds me of a song that I know, but I don't listen to all the time, or a band that I don't listen to all the time, and it took me ages and ages and ages. And today I was making a cup of tea or something, not tea, like actually just like fruit tea. I don't drink regular tea. And you know, when it just kind of clicks. It's like, oh, that's Friends Laurent-ish. It's not, they don't sound like Friends Laurent. Maybe this is the drums, maybe, but like the vocals don't sound like it. You know, they're very, very different writing. But it's the way that the vocals go that really reminds me of the song Never Had So Much Fun. it might just be me hearing that, and you know, sometimes you hear something and then you can't get that thought out of your head. It's like, no, this is definitely that, this is definitely sounds like that. I think it does. It might not to you, but it does to me. But and also then going into towards the end of the chorus, it's quite like a nice kind of bouncy vocals. It reminds me of Alistair. So there's a really nice kind of contrast. You've got some really good like influences. I'm assuming that those are influences. Really nice kind of influences going on there, which can give you like an idea of what the song sounds like. It's quite a nice upbeat little song, but again, it's got the sadness. All right. Next we've got Haze again. This one is slower. It feels like a longer song, but it's not really longer than any of the others. That much, I don't think. The band that stands out to me on this one that I kind of get reminded of is No Use for a Name. And again, like I was saying earlier about the Swellers on the Comfortable Lie song, that kind of reference or inspiration is kind of flows through the whole record. And I find that, you know, that I was saying about the hint of kind of sadness in the lyrics and the tone of the voice as well. I kind of always felt that way about Tony Sly anyway. No Use for a Name, I always thought that there was like a little bit of, it's a little touch of kind of sadness to the sound of his voice. It might again be me, but that's kind of what I always kind of thought with them. So that initially, you know, I get this No Use for a Name inspiration, whatever, from there, and you kind of have these kind of like skate punky kind of drums. Again, going through the whole album, they're not a skate. I don't think it's skate punk, but it's got tendencies for sure. Like the drums are that way inclined, but it's just I don't know whether the vocal. I don't know. There's tendencies anyway, for sure. Yeah, and we'll move on to the last song, which is Polaroid. This one, straight away, I was like, ooh, that's definitely influenced by Lagwagon. There's definitely a feel to that on the guitars, the opening guitars on there. The chorus is like super sing-along, a lot of fun to kind of listen to. But also what I found really interesting to this is the last song, is you don't, apart from the first song, you don't hear any kind of guitar shred, like the power metal-y kind of vibe that I got on the first song, but you do hear it on this one, and I think that's quite a nice way to be like, this is the start, this is the end. There's kind of ties, and it ties it together, which I thought was like a really nice little touch. So overall, I hope this review was alright, but overall they've it's a weird one, because although I kind of reference a ton of bands I think have influenced them, or that I think they kind of sound a little bit like, they still have their own sound, and I definitely don't want to be like, oh, they're just essentially this band, or they're essentially this band. That is not what I'm saying. It's, they have their own sound, but they do remind me of these great bands that I love, and obviously they must do as well. And what I think that does, that creates this really nice kind of like familiarity, and it makes me feel like I know them or have been listening to them for a while. The lyrics, they're so honest, they're relatable, and the guys just come across as like really likeable and earnest, and it's just a really nice kind of like pop punk album, even though it's not pop punk in the way that I suppose modern pop punk is. It's still like it's quite sad, because I know a lot of pop punk stuff now is more like leaning towards the posy stuff, which I talked about in my last video. And another thing that kind of stands out to me on this is I think the harmonies, right, this is a bit of a controversial point, but I wrote it down, it's like, I don't know if I should say that, but I think the harmonies are so good, they kind of rival kind of Teen Idols, and I love harmonies in punk songs, and I love Teen Idols, so I don't know, is that a controversial point? It might be, because I know that the two kind of really kind of different bands, really, the Teen Idols were quite Ramones-core, But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. The main vibe I get, is if you like the Swellers, No Use for a Name, then you're going to love this band. I'll be honest, I haven't heard any of their other stuff yet. I've only been listening to this kind of constantly over the last week, just so I can kind of get used to kind of what they sound like. Yeah, so that's it. Let me know if you've listened to it and what you think about it. It also shows how great the community is on Instagram. The music community on Instagram is. Scott from Brassneck kind of didn't have to kind of go on and suggest anything, and he wanted to, and he did, and now I found this band that I really enjoy. And like I was saying with Colin's Punk Rock World, Colin didn't have to go and put together a playlist of bands, but he did, and that was super nice. And I've gone on and been on his podcast a few times now, and it's kind of made me more aware of bands I've missed out on, and hopefully my videos are doing that for some people as well. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I know in my last video I felt like I was kind of getting used to what I was doing. In this one I feel a bit kind of scattered and a bit all over the place with it, because I'm not used to reviewing things, and this was kind of my first one, and I wasn't sure what to say, and especially a band I don't really know. But yes, that's it. I hope it was okay. Yeah, cool. So stay safe and stay cool. I'll see you all next time, and hopefully I won't be as all over the place.